You felt it too, that hollow echo deep inside you, the quiet ache that appears when the noise fades. You call it boredom, or loneliness, or exhaustion, but beneath all those words, it's something else, a kind of silence that stretches into infinity, a sense that something's missing, yet you can't even name what that something is. This is the void, and today I want to talk about it, not as a concept, but as a presence, because emptiness is not just absence, it's a voice, a whisper that speaks when everything else falls silent. Stay with me, because by the end of this hour, you might realize that the thing you've been running from your whole life was never trying to hurt you. It was trying to show you who you are. We live in an age obsessed with fullness. Our feeds overflow. Our minds are crowded. Our days packed tight with distraction. And yet inside, people feel emptier than ever. How is it that with so much stimulation, we still feel starved? How can a world that gives us everything leave us feeling like nothing? The truth is uncomfortable. The void has always been there. It's not a glitch in your life. It is your life's hidden structure. Every desire, every ambition, every fear points back to it. It's the blank page we write ourselves on. And when we finally stop scribbling for long enough, we start to see the white underneath. That's when panic sets in, because the modern mind hates silence. We crave constant proof that we exist. Likes, messages, noise. We chase it endlessly because the moment we stop, we fall back into that endless quiet. And the quiet asks questions we don't want to answer. Who are you when you're not performing? Who are you when no one is watching? What's left when you take away the goals, the people, the distractions? For most people, the answer feels like nothing. But that nothing, a terrifying emptiness, might be the beginning of everything. Emptiness is not a void to escape. It's a mirror. It reflects back everything you've avoided seeing, your fears, your false identities, your hunger for meaning. It shows you what's real, precisely by stripping away what isn't. And yet, we spend our whole lives trying to bury it. We drown it in entertainment, in relationships, in productivity. We try to fill it with success, with pleasure, with noise. But the more we fill, the more it grows, because you can't fill something that was never meant to be full. You can only listen. Emptiness is not the enemy of life. It's the ground of it. It's the space that allows meaning to exist. Without silence, there is no music. Without darkness, no light. Without emptiness, no love, no thought, no soul. So when you feel that strange hollowness, don't rush to silence it. That's the voice of your soul clearing the clutter, calling you home. Maybe you're here because you've been feeling detached from life, like the world has lost its taste. Everything's still there. The same streets, the same faces, the same screens, but they don't feel real anymore. You scroll, you eat, you talk, but something's off, like you're watching yourself live instead of living. That sensation, that eerie unreality, is what happens when the soul can't find itself in the noise anymore, when your inner voice has been drowned out by the 1,000 external ones screaming for attention. But don't mistake it for death. That's the birth of awareness. The void is not there to destroy you. It's there to strip away the illusions that have been destroying you all along. So before we go further, take a breath. Let your shoulders drop. For a moment, stop running from the silence inside you. The void is not a monster, it's a mirror. And if you have the courage to look into it, you might finally see the person you were always meant to be. We run from the void in 1,000 clever ways. We tell ourselves we're just staying busy. We say we're being productive, chasing goals, building something meaningful, but most of the time, it's not creation, it's avoidance. We build towers of noise to drown out the quiet that keeps calling our name. Every notification, every plan, every late-night scroll is a small act of resistance against silence. because silence threatens the identity we've built. It unmasks the truth that all our noise was just armor. And underneath it, we're scared. Scared of being nothing. Scared that without our achievements, our image, our movement, we might disappear. But here's the paradox. The more we run from the void, the louder it becomes, because the void is not outside you, it's part of you, and the unseen half of your being. You can't outrun your own shadow. Think of how modern life rewards motion. If you stop, you're lazy. If you rest, you're falling behind. We've mistaken constant motion for progress, but progress toward what? We rarely ask, because to ask would mean pausing long enough to hear the silence answer back. The void doesn't shout. Waits patiently. It knows you'll come back eventually. When the distractions lose their flavor, when your success feels hollow, when the people you chased can't
Feel the ache and the moment when you realize that nothing external can save you. That's when the real journey
begins. Emptiness isn't punishment, it's invitation. It says, stop looking outward for what only inward reflection can reveal. But we resist. We reach for dopamine instead of depth. We fill every quiet second with sound. Podcasts, playlists, videos, anything but the weight of our own presence. We think silence means something's wrong, when, in truth, it's the first sign that something real might finally happen. People say they want peace, but they're terrified of stillness, because stillness brings everything unresolved to the surface. The thoughts you've buried, all the regrets you've postponed, or the questions you've ignored. The void is not cruel.
It's honest, and honesty hurts before it heals. But if you can stand there in that honest emptiness,
without running, you start to hear something beneath the fear, a subtle hum, the sound of being itself. You realize this emptiness isn't empty at all. It's alive, it's awareness, stripped of its disguises. When you stop filling it, the void becomes luminous. It begins to reveal what's real. You notice simple things again, the quiet rhythm of breathing, the way sunlight hits a wall, the weight of your own existence. Things you forgot to see when you were chasing the next thing. That's the secret. No one tells you the void isn't absence. It's depth. It's not here to take something away from you. It's here to give you back your life, but to receive it, you have to let go of your expectations, your control, your narrative. That's why it feels like death. Because the ego can't survive in silence. It's built entirely on noise. So when the silence grows, the ego panics. It says, this feels wrong. It throws thoughts at you, guilt, distraction,
restlessness, anything to drag you back into the familiar chaos. But if you stay still,
if you simply watch the panic without reacting, something remarkable happens. The panic burns out, and behind it, there's peace. Real peace. Not the kind you perform online. Not the kind that depends on others. The kind that doesn't need to be proven or shared or explained. It's silent, unshakable, and free. That's when you realize the void has never been your enemy. It was your teacher all along. The void speaks in a language beyond words. It doesn't use logic or argument. It speaks through silence, through longing, through that strange
ache that has no name. It speaks when you wake in the middle of the night
and feel the weight of being alive. It speaks when you walk through a city full of
lights and still feel unseen. It speaks when you
get what you wanted, and it still doesn't feel like enough. That ache is not a flaw in you. It's a compass. It's the soul's way of saying, this is not home yet. Emptiness doesn't want you to escape it. It wants you to listen. Because what it's trying to tell you is not that life is meaningless, but that meaning cannot be mass-produced. Meaning is born in the spaces between things, in silence, in attention, in surrender. The world sells you fullness, constant pleasure.
Endless affirmation, digital immortality, but
Fullness without truth becomes noise, and noise kills the soul. That's why so many people feel hollow in the middle of
abundance, because abundance without
awareness is just another kind of emptiness, one that pretends it's not empty. To truly hear the void, you have to let yourself become quiet enough to feel. Again, that means being alone without being lonely.
means letting time slow down until
You can sense the pulse of existence moving
underneath everything. The void doesn't demand answers, it only
presence. You start to realize that the void is not a hole to fall into, but a womb. It's where transformation begins. All growth starts in darkness. Seeds beneath soil, stars in space, souls in silence. We come to know ourselves not by adding, but by emptying. By losing the false selves we built to impress a world that never really cared. And when those selves finally fall away, what's left is something raw but real, a stillness that feels like death at first, but soon like freedom. That's why the saints, the philosophers, the mystics, they all talk about emptiness, because they learned that you can't find truth in noise. You have to go through silence, through loss, through surrender, and only then, when the last illusion drops, do you find that the void was full of light all along. It's strange. The deeper you go into emptiness, the more you start to feel connected. You begin to see the hidden thread running through everything. Pain, joy, birth, death, all of it part of one unbroken story. You stop demanding that life always feel good, and instead you start wanting it to feel
real, and real things are rarely comfortable. They stretch you, they humble you, they ask you to give up.
control, but they give something back in return. Authenticity. Sense that you're no longer faking your way through existence. You're finally awake. That's the moment when the void stops being
Terrifying. You realize it was never empty. It was just
waiting for you to stop pretending, waiting for you to stop filling every second, waiting for you to finally listen. And when you do, you start to hear that faint echo again, but now it's no longer
hollow. It's alive. It vibrates through you like a quiet yes. A yes to being a
yes to truth, a yes to the mystery that no words can
solve. That's when the silence
becomes sacred, not religious in the dogmatic sense, but sacred in the sense that it humbles you. It makes you realize that even in your emptiness, you are held, that beneath all the noise, beneath all the striving, something eternal has always been there. Quietly watching, you can call it the soul, you can call it
God, you can call it truth. The name doesn't matter. What matters is the knowing, the quiet certainty that you
were never truly alone, and once you feel that, even for a moment, you stop being afraid of emptiness, you begin to welcome
it, because it's not the absence of life, it's
the doorway into it. So the next time you feel that hollow echo inside you, don't rush to fill it, don't reach for your phone, don't drown it with noise, just breathe, let it speak. Let it remind you that you're not a machine. You're a soul, and the soul speaks softly, in the language of silence. That's the secret most people never discover. Emptiness
isn't the end, it's the beginning. It's
where all real transformation starts. It's where the illusions die and the truth begins to
live. The void that you feared is the same space
that can free you. It was never trying to hurt you. It was trying to call you back to simplicity, to meaning, to presence, to yourself. And when you finally answer, when you stop running, you'll find that the silence inside you isn't empty at
all. It's filled with something vast, ancient, and kind. It's filled with the whisper that's been speaking to you all along. The whisper says, you are here. You are real. You are loved. And in that moment,
You realize, well, kid, the void doesn't take away your humanity, it restores it. Because emptiness is not nothing, it's everything waiting to be seen.